Welcome to Outside Views, and today we're diving deep into a topic that's stirring the waters of UK-EU relations once again, Brexit. More specifically, we're talking about the so-called Brexit reset and why it won't include financial services once again. And this news has been circulating in October and has left many scratching their heads. After all, the City of London, one of the world's most important financial hubs, seems to be left out in the cold once again. Despite Brexit's impact on almost every corner of the UK economy, you'd think financial services, a sector that accounts for 12% of the UK's GDP and provides around 2.5 million jobs, would be in a priority in any talks with the EU. But no, they aren't. But let's take a step back. Earlier this month, Prime Minister Keir Starmer met with European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen in Brussels. And this was a highly anticipated moment, marking a thaw in relations between the UK and the EU, a possible reset, if you will. The tone was friendly, positive, and there were talks of improving cooperation. But guess what didn't make it into their joint statement? You've got it. Financial services. It's a bit odd, isn't it? We're talking about an industry that generates a whopping £278 billion in economic output for the UK. And that's a huge chunk of the pie, not to mention the £100 billion it brings in as tax revenue. Yet, when Starmer and von der Leyen met, there wasn't a peep about making life easier for the City of London. Now, to be fair, this isn't a new problem. When Boris Johnson was negotiating his Brexit deal, the city was largely left out too. Back then, financial services were hoping for some sort of mutual recognition between the UK and EU's financial rules. There was also the hope that London might get equivalent status from the EU. Well, this would have allowed UK-based firms to keep serving their clients across Europe with minimal disruption. But that did not happen. And now it seems like Keir Starmer is following in Johnson's footsteps, at least on this issue. So, what does this mean for the City of London? Is it, kind of doomed to remain on the sidelines forever? Let's break this one down. The financial services sector has been adapting ever since Brexit, and while it lost some EU business, the feared mass exodus of jobs from London never materialized, but there is still a transition period running. The city remains resilient, even if it's operating under different circumstances than before. However, with this latest reset, there was hope that financial services might get a look in, and not a hard hit next year. After all, both sides are now on speaking terms again, and there are plenty of other issues on the table that could open doors for some extra negotiation. One of those issues is youth mobility. The EU has shown interest in a youth mobility agreement, which would allow younger citizens from the UK and the EU to live and work in each other's countries for a limited period. And this could have been a great bargaining chip for the UK to use in exchange for better access for its financial sector. But Starmer, he seems to have other priorities. Instead of using this as leverage, he's focusing on a veterinary deal, a defense pact, and the recognition of professional qualifications. Now, don't get me wrong, those issues are very important. But should they come at the expense of a sector as crucial as financial services? If you ask me, it seems like a missed opportunity, although we know the standing of the EU on that one. But he didn't even try. Starmer has also made it clear that rejoining the EU or the single market or the customs union is off the table. Wouldn't be easy anyway. And that means any discussions around financial services are going to be difficult, if not impossible. In fact, many experts are saying that bringing up the topic would be a waste of breath, and I kind of agree on that one. Jonathan Hill, a Conservative peer and former UK Financial Services Commissioner in Brussels, put it quite bluntly. He said that the government's red line on the single market rules the single market rules out any prospect of progress on financial services. And even if relations between the UK and the EU improve, financial services would be the very last issue the EU would move on. That's a pretty bleak outlook, isn't it? But as we know, politics is often about timing and patience. For now, discussions about financial services are being kept to more technical forums. And this is where officials hope to slowly improve cooperation and find areas where the two sides can work together. Chancellor Rachel Reeves, for instance, is set to travel to Brussels in December to attend a meeting of Eurozone finance ministers. But don't expect any major breakthroughs. At her last meeting with the EU's Financial Services Chief, Marc McGuinness, in September, Reeves didn't even bring up the issue of market access. The talks were friendly, sure, but they were mostly about shared problems like capital markets and sanctions. So while the UK and the EU are talking again, the City of London is watching from the sidelines. And let's not forget what McGuinness said at a recent event. Financial services are not part of broader trade agreements, and there is no going back to the way things were before Brexit. That's a hard pill to swallow for an industry that was hoping for much better terms in the post-Brexit era. Of course, the City of London has proven to be resilient so far. It adapted to some new realities, but it hasn't been without challenges. Many in the financial sector feel that Brexit potential was never fully realized when it came to securing market access to the EU. And there was a lot of hope for equivalence, but in the end, only the UK's clearinghouses managed to maintain unfettered access to the EU's markets for a short period of time. Chris Hayward, the policy chairman at the City of London Corporation, summed it up quite well. We wanted equivalence, and we didn't get equivalence, he said. He also pointed out that they are not going to be able to turn the clock back on that. In other words, the ship has sailed. So where does this leave us? As relations between the UK and the EU improve, it's likely that the City of London will continue to be left out of the key negotiations, and 2026 will be another milestone here. And there may be small gains made in the background through technical forums. Don't expect any grand gestures or major breakthroughs. The financial sector will just have to continue adapting, as it has since Brexit became a reality. But make no mistake, the lack of progress on this front is a real loss for the UK economy, and 2026 will be another. The City of London is an economic powerhouse, and its role in the global financial system cannot be overstated. Yet here we are, with the sector still watching from the sidelines as the UK and the EU try to reset their relationship. Welcome to the Brexit, sir. And with that, we wrap up today's deep dive into the Brexit reset and the City of London's ongoing struggle for a place at the table. If you have any thoughts on this topic or want to share your views, drop them in the comments below. So thanks for watching, and as always, stay informed with outside views. Until next time, and the next video is right here in the end screen.